HiRevz Media is sponsored by Born to Ride Motorcycle Magazine. Check out borntoride.com. Alright guys, so it's getting a little dark out here, but I got the Excursion over here at the shop, and one of the things I definitely want to do is upgrade that radio in there. And so we got one of the Chinese made screens you can get off of Amazon. I'll put links to everything in the description. And I already had the dash trim, already had some wiring. Had another screen that I used to put in everything all the time. It's actually a DVD player, but this has Apple CarPlay hooked up, so I went ahead and went this way. And this one comes with the rear view camera, which is nice. The wiring in here, got the remote, and some other mounting plates, and then this is the actual screen there. And it's cool because it fits into a single DIN mount. Even though there's a spot for a double DIN there, I can have my little tray and this goes up and down or back and forth. And the dashes on those Excursions are pretty much flat, so it really works pretty well, or at least I think it's going to work pretty well, rather. So let's get started. All right, guys, so this is the removal tool, and I've had this one for years, so the package is probably different now. So this side's in, you've got these small holes here in the factory radio. So you just line those up with the holes. So you gotta squeeze them together a little bit to get them in both holes. And then you push in and you'll finally feel it just kind of go into an area. There we go. So it goes into an area and it just kind of sits in there, and then you gotta be real easy. If you pull too hard out, you just pull the pins back out. So you gotta be real easy, and then right now it's unlocked. So it's kind of moving around some, so we just gotta slowly work it back and forth, and it will pull out of there. All right, guys, once you get the radio pulled out, you've got to unplug the wires. You've got your antenna wire there, and then a couple connectors. And the connector that we're going to be connecting to will be this one right here. And this is the wiring kit. It's a real simple one. This is actually an older one that we've had, but it will plug right in there. And that gives us all the speaker connections and power connections. This other stuff goes to steering wheel controls and stuff like that. If you want to retain that, then you'll have to figure out a box for that, I think. But anyways, now that is out, we can test fit the radio. And this is our trim, okay? And that fits pretty nicely in there. And then we'll put our radio in there. See how that fits, and then wire up the wires. All right, guys, so here is the radio out, and I just slid it right out of these. Here's the little keys to get out of the basket, and like I said, it's really nice and small and should fit into a single DIN. I did try some of the adjustment little plate here and screw. It does move around pretty good. So now I gotta get this cage installed into that frame. All right, guys, so I actually used a different trim piece that we had, the one with a little tray, and it ended up snapping as I was trying to get it on, but it's like 20 years old, so this one will work, and we'll get it snapped in there. I got the tabs been up around the cage, and this should click in now just fine. So now we're gonna start working on the wiring. All right, guys, so in wiring, got my old connector there, and these are the ones that come with the radio, and then you've got the camera. This is literally, for the most part, comes down to just connecting colors with colors. I mean, it's not super difficult on that. I did see that some people said the blue wire, which is supposed to be your either antenna or amp wire, does not work on these cameras, so you have to run a different wire. to make that work, a switched wire. And you can hook it into the switched power here. That's really not good on amps, and sometimes we'll burn them up. So it just depends on what you want to do there. I'm not running an amp in this, it doesn't bother me. The pink wire is usually connected to your parking brake to make things work. It says not to connect that, but I'm going to connect it to my ground anyways. So that'll just be grounded, and then get the other stuff hooked up here and go from there. Alright guys, so both connectors are hooked up, and then the wires that I'm not using, I just make sure I get those taped up just in case any power does try to go through them. They won't connect with anything in the dash. So that's good. So that will be hooked up, and then I'm going to go ahead and plug in my camera. And this does have a power that can go all the way from the front to the back. There's really no reason to do that because you can hook a power up directly back there on the reverse lights and then just ground it somewhere. But what's most important is getting that RCA plugged in. All right, got everything hooked up, and it's pretty cool. You can press the volume up and then really crank up on it. It does really good. But Apple CarPlay, all this stuff seems to be working very well. You can go through all this stuff. Seems to be super smooth. Everything that you click through works very, very well. So pause that. But yeah, everything seems to be working very good. This is the main screen here, and it has everything to choose from here, and then your phone links. It'll actually do phone mirroring as well as AirPlay and the normal Apple CarPlay, and then all of your Android stuff if you're one of those people. But everything seems to be really good. Like, it just goes right into stuff. Seems to be working well. All right guys, so here's the dash and the radio in the daytime, and it looks pretty good. Fits in there pretty nicely. And right now I'm running my wire down through here, and you can actually see it right over here. So this wire is for the cameras. Right now I'm just running along the running board here and tucking it under the plastic. And some of this you have to pop up in order to get it in there, and just get it to the back so I can hook up the camera back there. But it's going pretty good running it through there so far. All right, so figured this was gonna happen. So here's my cable, and obviously that didn't go all the way. So I need to attach another RCA here and then continue back, really just to get me to about right here. So not very far, but gonna have to find another cable to extend this with. All right guys, so I got the double female connector there, and then just another strand of wire. It's plenty long enough to get me all the way to the back. So I just got to run this down here. I'm going to mount the camera right here somewhere. All right guys, so there's the little camera mounted. I ran the wires back up under there, and I just ran them directly up to this little reverse light right here and connected it directly at the source. So it comes on. One thing I noticed is there's a tracer wire that runs along. You want to hook power up to it. So when the reverse light comes on, it powers that, and then that sends power back to the radio to tell it that it needs to be connected. So I had to pull that back out and actually connected it to the blue wire, which tells it the right camera is on, because for some reason it was not seeing a signal from just the reverse camera coming on. So that's one thing that was not correct, but the workaround is to tell it it's the right camera. So you send power back to it and hook it up to that blue wire, which is not an amp wire at all, and then it works.
Time to get out and play. AMSOIL delivers the ultimate protection for your vehicles and equipment. Fast, free shipping right to your door. Spend $100 and shipping is on us. Order now at AMSOIL.com.